Hello, this is Decoherent, and welcome back to some more Torment Tides of Numenera. So, last episode was sort of exciting. We've got some stuff lined up. In Little Neelesh, I think we've got a way lined up to open up the Maw without feeding any part of it to me. We polished off our quest for our friend Kian, and now we've got an inn we can use. Maybe I should do that, actually. We're getting kind of low on stats. Got Rin leveled up. Now she has an ability where she can use ciphers without them breaking, which is amazing. So we gave her all of our nasty ciphers. And I decided that we were going to go visit our labyrinth. And by that I mean I'm going to go run directly into this robot's blades and see what happens. First, something amazing I discovered. So, I've been trying to figure out how to use Tiber's flex skill, right? So I'd looked and I'd seen, oh yeah,
standing around is kind of nice.
Shush. I'm talking.
Relaxing.
Well, in here somewhere. Or do not have it on? Well, the flex skill thing. But anyway, I thought this is just for my character. Yeah. But no, when you select a different character, ta-da! Flex skill. So, anyway, that made me feel stupid. But we'll do that when we come back. Let's go to the labyrinth first, and then we'll recharge our stats. And then we will go poke at the Maw. And by poke at it, I mean we will have someone else poke at the Maw, because I'm not an idiot. I want you to kill me. This is not the first time I have heard such words from a mortal. Perhaps I represented easy death, a quick release for those who desire it. But I must disappoint you, as I did the others. I will fight those who I deem a challenge, but I will not kill without purpose. I'm just going to get back up. Alright, I want to challenge you to combat. This is going to go poorly. Yes, Eridus says, hopping from foot to foot. We do! You are challenged! The construct's blade arms suddenly clench, whirring into a new configuration with such speed that your eyes cannot follow. A moment ago they seemed sleek and clinical, like a Kyurgeon's well-honed knife. Now they are jagged and cruel. Uh-oh. Why would you ask this? Its voice is suddenly different, higher pitched and grating, like the scrape of a hacksaw across a rough metal surface. To test myself? Because you're a killer. I don't agree with that. I don't want to be known as the one who finally defeated you? That's dumb. Nope, I don't need to tell you why. No, I will not fight you. God damn it. Faster than your eyes can follow, the blade arms swing back to their original sleek shape, and the voice becomes hollow once more. In the eyes of the Bloom, you are no great predator. No purpose would be served by your death. Is it serious? Eridus looks back and forth between you and the construct. All those spikes and blades and blood-making, flesh-cutting things, and it doesn't want to fight? Leave me to my watch, and do not challenge me again. So, I feel bad for it. I don't want to pick a fight. Or more to the point, I don't want to pick a fight under false pretenses. But I really need to go poke at the AI. Son of a bitch. There's got to be a more useful way to die. I wish I could convince it that I'm just going to get back up. Like, I don't care. This is no big deal. I challenge you to combat, again. Urgh. So I wonder how I can get the Bloom to regard me as a threat. Oh, this thug has a name. I didn't notice that. Can I pick a fight with him? This woman's face is lined with worry, although her thick build suggests that she could snap a spear in two without much effort. She continuously glances towards the tunnel leading out of the courtyard, as if she hopes to see someone. She runs a hand through her short graying hair and mutters, "Gods." Finally, she takes notice of you. The wrinkles on her face harden immediately. "What are you looking at?" She juts a thumb towards the massive gate behind you. "No one gets to the fortress without permission. I can already tell you don't have it, so keep walking." You look worried about something. What's wrong? She gives you a wry grin. Isn't that obvious? You'd be worried too if you had a patrol go missing and you were stuck on guard duty. I should be glad that my little Neelish got back, but I can't be sure, not while there's still men missing out there.
Remember that.
Listen, if you happen to see any of my missing soldiers, I'd appreciate whatever news you can give me. They'd be outfitted like me. She indicates her studded leather armor. I'd go looking for them myself, but she gives kind of a surrendered shrug, leaving her thought unfinished. Well, I found one of your patrols in Little Neelish. You're about to be killed by some angry mutants. That was you? They told me what happened. You have my thanks and theirs. Here, the men agreed you deserve something. Yes. Yes, I do. So if I find your missing people, will you let me inside? She gives you a pitying look. I don't decide who gets in. I just keep everyone else out. But if you find my men, I'll give you something for your trouble. Okay. So what can you tell me? Well, okay, where are these people?
I'll remember that.
Both of the patrols were tasked with collecting duties from the gangs. Yeah, there's going to be one in each slum. They're probably somewhere in the vast interior or one of the slums, but I haven't heard from them in some time. Given the nature of the bloom, they could be literally anywhere. So, what can you tell me about the Memavira? She's someone you don't want to cross, like me. Well, who are you? Ah, right. I've heard about you from the folks in the cliffs. Guess I can't get away from you without answering some questions, can I? Okay. I've been in the Memavira's service for years, ever since she came into power. She's not one to mess with, let me tell you. She'll squash anyone who gets in her way just to keep things tidy. She gets a faraway look in her eyes. Well, at least that's how it used to be. Things are different now. The Bloom's acting strange, and even some of the gangs are getting out of control. Never crossed the Memavira, but these days there are plenty of others you shouldn't cross either. What do you mean the Bloom is acting strangely? Well, it used to be that the Bloom sort of favored us because we worked for the Memavira. She seemed to predict things it would do or new Maws that would open, but now? It's dangerous for us to go too deep, else the Bloom itself might swallow some of us whole. That's if we can find our way back in the first place. With the Maws closing and shifting like they are, it's a wonder my patrols ever get back at all. So what do you mean by the gangs being out of control? Too many to tell, but I can list a few you're likely to find nearby. Oh, I said that wrong. There's the Murdens down where the old slave block used to be. We've tried to run them out a few times, but there always seem to be more. Can't figure out why the Bloom doesn't bother them. There's the mutants in Little Neelish. Let me point out they named the place, like they're trying to make a new Neelish right here, with them as the rulers. They didn't used to give us trouble, but they've gotten bolder since the Bloom started acting up. I'm not sure which is worse at this point. Then there is Artaglio and his bunch. They stay mostly in the slum. They're not so much a gang as they are a bunch of freeloaders, but they cause enough trouble with the other gangs that they're worth mentioning. Alright. Fine. Yeah. Yeah. We'll go hunt your people down. I'm really irritated that Waits for Prey wouldn't just kill me like I asked politely. Maybe once I'm a little further in the quest line, the Bloom won't like me anymore, and then he'll see me as some kind of a threat. I can't believe I missed this entire, island is the wrong word. Flesh Island? Thing? That would have been very disappointing. Alright. So, Persia. Good news! You're gonna love this. See the giant teeth with the tentacles around it?
Before you do any of the things you do?
Back so soon. Yes. So, right. So Garkoto has agreed to release you, but only if you face them all and allowed to drag out your guild. Ha! I have nothing to confess or regret, so the Maw will find me a paltry meal. I accept your bargain. The disc on her forehead pulses briefly and loses its cohesion to her flesh. It falls to the ground, and Hersh's eyes widen as her imaginary prison disappears. She bends over to pick up the disc, and she passes it to you with a mocking smile. As a knight, I live by my honor, and it's my honor to put some miles between this place and me. A quick jaunt to the Maw, and then I'll show my heels. Wasn't I supposed to do something? This disc held Herja captive inside a psychic cage. Now inert, it looks like a flat circle of metal. You don't know how to reactivate it, but it might be useful to a merchant. But it's an artifact, not an oddity. Okay. With a slight sneer, Herja steps towards the maw. I will tell you what I regret, she declares. Let the bloom do its worst. Why would you say that? Confidence shines from her face, and her proud carriage, even despite the filth that smears her armor, makes her look every inch the knight she claims to be. The Maws' tongues reach out to her, grasping and tugging, as they penetrate into her flesh and draw her close, and you can see the first flickers of doubt and fear. Her eyes focus somewhere far away, and she addresses someone who isn't here. She begins to speak through gritted teeth, as if resisting the pull of the maw in her memories. The spotted dossier... I cared little for it, sister, but your sadness made me cry. She breathes deeply, and something inside her seems to break. Her stoic mask begins to crumble. Yeah, so it's not poison that she feels bad about. I didn't mean for them to die. Not like that. Not painfully, not twitching, frothing, kicking. Not the children, she swallows. I sold some of the metal before I crumbled it into the air. I thought the dose was still toxic. Tears began to stream down her cheeks. Toxic it was, but not enough to drop them. The screams. That was the first time they ever seemed human to me. But skinning the yellow woman, her tentacles, her sting, she cried and wailed, but she was a monster, Herja sobs, and her voice drops to a monotone. Cutting out her babies was a blessing to her, stopping more monsters from entering the world, we all agreed. Wow, this is... okay. She doesn't seem to hear, her voice reciting a litany of further crimes. When we brought the tunnel down on the diggers, I could hear their cries through the rubble. Rather than offer mercy, I gave them fire to steal away their breath. Her voice drones on, and somehow this makes her story more horrifying. I herded the weeping families into the spire, even though I knew that the resonances of the chamber would slowly shiver them apart. I hated them, I thought, but this was only because I feared my fellows' scorn. You're a piece of work. I called down the threshers, and I stood guard with my blazing sphere to keep the fathers from saving their children. I laughed at their cries, and I disemboweled the one because I thought he might serve as a lesson. His blood ran with that of his children, and they all suffered to see the others in agony. We wagered over who would die first. She stops talking. I'm a greater monster than they ever will. Yeah, I agree. A piece of shattered synth lies on the ground nearby. Herja snatches it with her free hand and brings it to her neck. Tears pour down her cheeks and she murmurs, I'm so sorry. No. Nope. Nope. You own this. Oh, nice. You grab her wrist before she can slash her throat, and her pain-filled eyes focus on you. Let me die, she whispers, and leans into the synth. You can barely keep it from her. She's strong, and she clearly wants to end her agony. Yeah, just like all those other people? No. Absolutely not. You manage to pry the synth shard away from her before she can do any lasting damage, to her body at least. Her mind seems ruined. Her eyes are distant, almost vacant, and she stands on weakened legs. She totters a short distance and looks back over her shoulder at you. I'm so sorry, she whispers, and then stumbles away. Yeah, sorry doesn't help any of the dead ones. Oh, the air stirs around you, slowly at first, and then a gust as the maw begins to open, expelling atmosphere from an alien world into a little Neelesh. A black tunnel opens, the skein beneath world stretching taut, and then snapping like a call from an infant's face. Or mine, as I fell from the sky. Neat. Well, obviously I'm not going to leave this area yet. Got other things to do. Let's just want to take a look at this. Cool. And it's still making awesome noises. Oh, that's excellent. Okay. Right. Cool. Alright. So, what should we do? Wonder if Garkoto cares that Herja's kind of admitted all this stuff. So Herja lives. Let us hope she understands the magnitude of her actions. In time, she may learn something of compassion. The grill sparks and fizzles as Garkoto whispers, but such is not my experience. Something strange, strangled sound comes from the grill at the front of the tank. Before you go, what became of the device that bound Herja to her prison? Here. I don't want it. Take it. My thanks, friend. It's served me well for years. Yeah.
Here comes the boredom slayer.
Wow. Well, that was a hell of a thing. Huh. Okay. So, what do we want to do? Let's go back, get our stat pools refilled. Sleeping overnight. Because we've got a couple that are empty at this point. And I don't want to start running into challenges that I can't roll. I wonder if screwing around with Herja made us more of a predator. I don't think so, but maybe. We'll see. I mean, it did, but I'll probably check. Giant bug. Nice lamp. I like that little lamp. Alright. Can. Even the floors move. Man. Hey, like to crash if that's okay? Of course, she waves towards an empty tent. I'll bring you some food shortly, and I'll tell you some stories if you like. Enjoy your night. Thank you.
That's more like it.
Whoa, what's going on here? To be able to meet these requirements, I expect the star's heart. Oh. Decanted?
Yeah, that's something I could do.
What would be easy remediation? We do not wish to reveal that information. Revealing capabilities may reveal weaknesses. What are you? Do I seem the shark that takes advantage of weakness? But very well, you'll have your subjects. What is that? What seizes your eye first about this humanoid automaton is not the cunning construction of its slender limbs or its gleaming white armor that covers its chassis. It is instead the frozen human head that peers out from a frost-covered dome in the construct's chest. Is that what that is? The head examines you carefully from head to toe. You feel a subtle warmth as scanners inside the machine assess you. The automaton's gaze shifts to Rin and remains on her for a long, long moment, and then returns to you. The voice that squawks through a grill mounted atop the construct's head is flat and expressionless. Greetings. We are called the Decanted. We are here representing buyers from our society. Our clients greatly value beauty and physical fitness. A distorted howl cuts its speech short. Apologies. Maintenance for this vessel has not been optimal in recent times. Rectification to be undertaken soon. To summarize, we seek beautiful creatures to honor them. By honor, do you mean lop off their heads and stick it in a robot? For instance, if you look into the slave pit nearby, you see one specimen that stands out from the rest. This young man here, it points. Do you see the interplay of muscles in its body? It is strong, but not overbuilt. The biceps are pleasantly rounded, as are the pectorals. The body has little fat and appears to be in good condition. This is popular amongst our clients. These are some of the examples we seek. Oh. Clients. You're swapping brains in and out, aren't you?
Making a note.
The grill squawks again with a blast of noise. Apologies. It makes a small adjustment. We are here that we might take these subjects to the Aptera suite. We offer a life of luxury, privilege, and pleasure for everybody accepts. It pauses. We offer great rewards. We require 3 individuals with aesthetically pleasing bodies. Perhaps we can be of mutual assistance. So, what the heck are you? The grill buzzes out its flat voice again. We do not have a personal appellation you would understand. Your people commonly refer to ours as Decanted. We achieve long life through these forms you see, our heads separated and preserved. We need not retain our original forms to preserve the knowledge we carry. We can shed these bodies but live on. This one has lived hundreds of years, although its original body is long since dust. This one? We admire beauty in all its forms and seek to preserve it. We do this as a service to ourselves and our duty to the world, so that future generations can learn to appreciate beauty as we do. So, the guy you like in Pit is a slave, isn't he? Why don't you just buy it yourself? The auctioneer refuses our coins. He will not sell to us. Why are you looking at Rin?
I'll remember that.
Strong muscle tone, athletic build, great potential to become a suitable recruit. If allowed to take her, we will ensure that she grows to be a healthy, physically active woman in superb condition. Yeah, because you're gonna swap someone out. No. We have nothing to say. Parson, can you tell us a little more about the decanted? It said that you wouldn't take his money. I spoke to a construct near the slave pit. He says that you refuse to do business with it. Eh? What construct? Flint turns and peers towards the slave pit. Then its eyes narrow, and its enormous mouth twists like a serpent. That's no mere construct, I assure you. It was once a creature of flesh and blood like you and me, and it will be again if it fills its quota.
I'll remember that.
It lowers its voice. I assume you saw the withered head in the middle of its chest? Well, they say that these creatures are always on the prowl for young men and women of unusual beauty. When they acquire such people, they spirit them away, slice off their heads, and replace them with their own. A ghoulish practice, but it allows them to live as humans for a time. Flint shudders. This is not the kind of business we do here. Yeah. Good for you, dude. Yeah, no. Oh, might have been able to recruit Hersha? Yeah, I'm not interested in you. Nope. Not a fan. So, any chance that we can, fight each other? I will not fight you. You're no predator in the eyes of the Bloom. Alright. Come back after we beat up some more guys and see what you have to say there. Okay. So now the question is, do we go poke at the other slums, or do we go jump through the giant transdimensional portal that is bordered by a mouth? Let's take the middle ground. Let's go check out this guy that the cultists seem to hate. Anyone the cultists don't like has to be at least vaguely interesting. This man, my good. Oh wait, come back. Shoot. Let me see what that stuff was. Oh wow. Toys. And another construct. Ooh. Here, get out of the way, guys. I want to see what's going on over here. This is as far as I can get you out of the way.
I'm ready.
I just want to see this thing.
There's something off about you. Something not right.
Says the girl with 20 stitches and a rock in her pocket.
So, Oksu. This Vargellan looks much like the others of its kind. Violet red skin, yellow eyes, a tall crest atop its head. This one appears to have chosen a male form for now. He, wears thin lenses over its eyes, and some strange device encircles its head, with weighted attachments dangling at the end of long straps. His calloused, pointed fingertips are stained, and his garments are unkempt and in disarray. He looks impatiently as you interrupt his work, eyes snapping between you and the door. His crest inflates with irritation. The interruptions continue. What would you have of Oksu? Why do you keep looking at the door? He sighs. Apologies from me. The noise and constant interruption from those outside are inconducive to proper behavior. They have been escalating their discussions towards violence. Yet, if you have a construct here, they're in a lot of trouble.
I'll remember that.
The experiments conducted within this chamber are perhaps unlikely to gain the favor of the Bloom. Indeed, the great beast has evinced some displeasure. Its pathetic worshippers who gather here to mock have begun seeking ways to stop me, an effort to appease their deity. He gives you a hopeful look. I'd reward anyone who could drive them off. I'll think about it. He shrugs. But knowledge has always had its detractors. They will do what they must. As long as my work lives on, I care not. He turns his head from side to side, seeing with both of his eyes. What would you have of me? So what kind of work do you do here? Look, smell, taste, measure, understand. Though its voice is flat, you can see the pleasure in its face. Apprehension is the key to knowledge. The bloom is a creature unlike any other, yet who has taken the time to study its nature? The first is Yoksu. The work done here will illuminate the bloom for those who follow. Oh God, I hope it is actually unlike any others. Can you imagine a whole planet of these things? I just did, and I'm not happy about it. For decades I have been here. Physical structure, biological needs, behavior, mental construction, known history of the beast, history of its inhabitants, all those things I have gathered. Where does it originate? I believe a twin star holds the answer, a place of yowling winds and immense gravity. Fear tells me that this creature is not yet mature, that the years will see its size increase. Oh God! Can I just send you back to your binary system, please? Reality bends around the bloom, its ways twist and turn. But even where stability is assumed, the bloom's presence resists understanding. It resists mapping. This is the importance of my work, to make secrets known so that all may benefit. Yeah. Neat. So, what's this cool thing you have in the middle of the room? The bloom detests those who seek to understand it on a rational level. For some time now, it has sought my destruction, to erase all accomplished here. The device generates a multispectrum field that repels the bloom's advances. Yoksu's lip curls. But this means only that it waits for me without. Had other devices not been available to create food and drink, I should have perished here. So, how about this construct you have in the corner? I met one of its friends. Many years ago, it came to my door. It vowed service to me if its memories and personality could be erased. I did not ask why, just as I would hope to have my own reasons respected. He rubs his eyes. It now serves to protect me against those who would do me harm, most specifically, the Murdens and the cultists. I wonder if Waits for Prey would be interesting in hearing about that. What automaton in the corner? Did I miss one? Here, He regards you flatly with both eyes, turning his head this way and that. At last he speaks. With the bloom's followers outside my door, the risk of transmission of this information to potentially dangerous parties is unacceptable. You will not have the answer. Tell me how to deactivate the automatons like your bodyguard. Oh, cool. So, the scalpel that bears your mark, I found a power source for it. His eyes bulge, and his flat voice gains a tiny bit of modulation. The scalpel? Where did you find this? This was among the first devices I created to test the bloom. A transdimensional blade that could cut its flesh cleanly and preserve its properties for study. Yet, a thief removed it from my care, an Ebikos that entered my dwelling and absconded. He looks at it with a critical eye. The technology is old, however. Improvements are passable beyond this age. For the price of 190 shins, which will cover the cost of imported materials, the scalpel can be much more effective and much more dangerous. Only 190? Deal! He takes both shins and scalpel from your hands and moves to the workbench. Muttering to himself, he tinkers with the blade and its housing. When he returns it to you, he says, "Modifications are as follows. Increased power flows along the blade, although the energy cost and efficiency ratio remain the same, perhaps slightly improved. A sharper edge to the blade, ergonomic update for human figures." 9 plus 3. On hit, confers cut through dimensions, -5 resistance. On crits, we also gain phased. Converts all damage to transdimensional. I assume that means that it doesn't immediately double the damage on you. A small fine blade of transdimensional energy. Okay, yeah. It shimmers rapidly through different realities and ignores most mundane armors, though it was designed to be particularly effective when cutting the flesh of the bloom. Cool. So what do you think would make the bloom cultists leave you alone? Defeating them with reasoned arguments would be difficult, the Vergellan seems to consider. I present no danger to them. Not like you. A threat of force might persuade them, but I believe they tell the truth about enjoying the bloom's favor. To oppose them is to draw its ire. Ooh, if the bloom doesn't like me, then maybe waits for prey. Will talk to me. So, how did you deactivate the automatons? Oh, that's right, you won't be talking to me. Do you have anything you'd be willing to sell me? He looks around his cluttered desk. I do not anticipate a need for these devices any longer. Perhaps they can serve you. Toys, toys, toys. Spray flesh. I should probably get at least one of those. +1 training level and concentration. This is a beetle-like parasite about the size of your hand, with a glossy green carapace. Most of the time it is inert, the only sign of life being a faint vibration. When placed on the skin, it grips the bone with its armored claws and inserts whip-like tendrils into the nervous system, probing the host's brain. This coupling permanently makes the user more mentally attuned to certain artifacts. After a short while, the creature disengages from the brain, releases a cloud of spores invisible to the naked eye, and dies. Done! Heavy ranged weapon, entropic engine. 10 and 8, so 18 plus 1. Disrupted. Negative effects to increase each round. Once used as a propulsion device, this has been retrofitted to work as a launcher weapon. Whether either of these are its original purpose, you could not guess. The barrel fires a solid ball of energy, dealing massive damage to the target. The projectile fired from this weapon uses the device's original power source, but it's also clear that it's being discharged in a modified form. Opening the device, you discern modifications made to the engine, although you couldn't reproduce them. I don't think I have anyone that needs heavy range. Cloak, evasion, will. Oh, neat. Comprised of the thin, stretched-out faces of living alien beings, this cloak has a ghastly appearance. The alien faces have psychic abilities, and they project subtle illusions and hallucinations into the mind of those you meet, making it easier to bend them to your will. It also makes me more difficult to detect your target. What am I wearing? 2 resistance. I'll think about that. Heretic's Fork. Oh, it gains scanned thought but makes you stupid. A nondescript piece of coarse metal that reveals the thoughts of those around you. It embeds both forks into the flesh of a user and exudes an air of knowing melancholy. A significant amount of willpower is required to maintain a mental equilibrium under its effects. That's interesting. Consumables. Ecstasy Paralyzer? 10 mental damage. +2. On hit, confer dazed. On crits, stunned. The foot-long barrel of this device glows, alternating between different colors when active, and has an organic feel to it. When touched, you also notice that it warms up quickly, and a slight vibration can be felt. Hexagonal buttons sit behind a small screen on the top, allowing you to fire a blob of energy that affects the target's mind directly, filling them with overwhelming visions of pleasure. It's a TASP! Oh, neat. The grip and trigger seems to have been fitted on later, made from a dull gray metal, cold, with a few thick wires running from the top of the grip into the barrel. Despite the striking dissimilarity between the individual parts, the whole assembly is masterfully engineered, with clear purpose in mind. Neat! Can I use those? I'm using a light range weapon and it sucks. Let's see here. Neuropraxic detonation. 20 mental damage. A chain of barbed links encircles this pulsating knot of brain tissue. When the chain is broken, the bound psyche inside screams in an overwhelming glee that tears at nearby minds. Ugh. Fluid armature. +4 resistance, +4 armor. Wow, nasty initiatives. Or nasty initiative negative. At first, this finger-linked capsule seems to be made of metal. On closer inspection, it is a pellet of quicksilver contained by an unseen field. Pressing this capsule into the flesh covers a user in a protective subdermal layer that somehow slows reaction times. Interesting. Psychic focus. Ooh. This coil of flexible azure wire unfolds along a user's body with a pleasurable moan, drawing on their body's intrinsic energy field to improve their esoteric abilities. Ugh. Very interesting. Okay, we'll think about those for a moment. First of all,
If you want a real story, you can earn it by being my squire.
But I didn't ask for a story.
You say that now. Although, if you say it later as well, I'll have to tell myself stories. Again.
Seriously, these guys just crack me up. I love these guys. Okay, where's the little thingy I just got? Or was that a cipher? I'm not going to go through this whole thing again where I lose something and it takes me 10 minutes to find it. Looking, looking, looking. Seriously, I'm bad at this. Oh, here it is. +1 training level in concentration. Well, that went well. So now, concentration 2. Excellent. So now I can carry just wads of ciphers. Cool. Well, by wads I mean 2 more, but still. Alright, this is neat. So, did my character sheet... Yeah, medium weapons. I have... Yeah. Heavy weapons. He doesn't seem to have any particular preference one way or another. Maybe he should get that nifty gun. 7 + 3. Okay, oh, this thing that looks like R2-D2? Inside this device is a sizable lump of bloom flesh. It lies upon a comfortable-looking cushion and appears to be asleep. The top of this machine is covered in glass lenses of varying shapes. It appears to be some kind of monitoring device. Text and symbols flash across the screen, all of it meaningless to you. This construct is equipped with innumerable monitoring devices. Lines swoop and whirl across this leathery sheet, depicting what seems to be a map. Okay. On the shelves, you see a few discarded notes and old books. A rack of test tubes sits alone and forgotten, overgrown with bloom flesh. This bucket is filled with quivering chunks of bloom flesh and organelles. These tanks contain floating blobs of paint or algal matter. They could serve as a basic but unpleasant food source. Okay, and I haven't spoken to the construct yet. Okay, this is running a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, decide if I want to get that weapon, we'll talk to the construct, and then we'll go from there, I guess. Oh, and we'll poke at this finally. Yay. So, alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.